We begin on the South Sudanese conflict, and the regional body IGAD has shelved plans to impose sanctions despite the warring sides missing Monday's deadline to strike a peace deal. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir failed to sign a peace deal proposed by the regional leaders on Monday, saying he required more time. And South Sudan, which gained independence from Sudan in 2011, descended into chaos in December of 2013 when a political row between President Kiir and his deputy Riek Machar spiraled into an armed conflict that reopened ethnic fault lines. Numerous rounds of negotiations have failed to end hostilities, with both sides locked in a bitter war of attrition despite signing ceasefire deals.
The government has, in fact, initialed this peace agreement. They have only initialed it because they have certain reservations which they have decided to go back to the country and consult with the constituency, after which in the next 15 days, the government will come back to Addis Ababa to finalize the peace agreement.
It's not a complete step because other parties have signed, but we still need one more. But we are hopeful because the initialing was done, so we're hopeful that in the next coming days, the consultations will be made, and finally, there will be a complete agreement.
To me, there is no reason why he requested for more time. He has got a good agreement. It is power sharing. He has, at all levels, whether it is national level, they have a lion's share. At the state level, they have a lion's share. So I didn't see why he did not sign it. But that's the question.
In the meantime, though, the United States says it deeply regrets South Sudan's government failure to sign a peace proposal by Monday's deadline and urged it to sign within 15 days. According to the U.S. State Department, the U.S. will look at how to raise pressure on those opposing the pact. South Sudan's President Salva Kiir declined to sign a peace deal proposed by regional leaders on Monday, saying he required more time to consult. South Sudan, which gained independence from Sudan in 2011, descended into an internal crisis in December 2013 when a political row between Salva Kiir and his deputy Riek Machar spiraled into armed conflict that reopened ethnic fault lines. Let's bring you more perspective now on this story, and I'm joined in our studios by Mariano Deng. He's South Sudan's ambassador to Kenya. Ambassador Deng, thank you very much for joining us here on Africa Live. Now, all the other parties in the IGAD Plus process, except for the Sudanese government, appended their signatures to the proposed peace deal. What is the government's key concern that would make the proposed peace deal unacceptable?
Thank you for having me. Our key concern are mainly ratio of power sharing at the national level, ratio of power sharing at the state level, demilitarization of the national capital, allocations of revenue from natural resources as oil and others, especially in the regions of conflict, part of Upper Nile region. And more importantly, the reason defection of rebels, commanders from Riek-led rebellion to form their own. These are very important factors that we need to consult with our population, the constituencies of South Sudan. This is an elected government. It has more responsibility to the people.
Ambassador Deng, you have listed there a number of issues that are of concern to the government. Key among them, the ratio of power sharing, demilitarization, and the sharing of oil resources. However, though, President Kiir has now requested for a 15-day window to consult before he can sign on that deal. who is it exactly that the president will need to consult? And given the raft of issues that you are disagreeing with, is there a chance that he will still not agree to commit to the deal after the 2 weeks deadline?
President Kiir represents the wishes of the people of South Sudan. He was elected by the people into this position, and he has to listen to the people. At the end, during a democratic process that will be carried out, it will be people who will decide his political fate. And therefore, he has more at stake in signing an agreement that is not yet clear whether the rebel, the commanders, those who are fighting in the field, are with Riek, or have they disowned Riek as they have said. And if we sign, the fighting may continue. And also, what does it mean to demilitarize the capital and to give a rebel leader more share of oil revenue? This is a rebel leader who claims to represent the majority of an ethnic group that has not elected him. He has never been elected. His popularity has not been tested. And we want to make sure that signing agreement will not create more problem than solution. We are confident that the people of South Sudan would want to see peace that saved life, that allowed them to progress in peace and more or less to develop on democratic ideal that they have started.
Well, the people of South Sudan, as you put it there, Ambassador, want peace in South Sudan. What is it that the government wants?
The people of South Sudan need for peace is not different from what the government wants. In the last few days and weeks, people have demonstrated across South Sudan in all 10 states that they need a comprehensive agreement that will encompass all the major issues, especially the cessation of hostilities, in which they will be able to resume their life. It is the people that have elected this government and not the rebel. The rebel are a small fraction of our population which need to be accountable to the people of the Republic of South Sudan. And all people of good will, including IGAD, I am sure have interest to see that the peace they are involved in will work and not create more conflict and chaos.
Well, Ambassador Deng, there is a sense of frustration now, though, from the international community, and the UN Security Council is scheduled to meet on Tuesday next week to review the situation in your country and update on the outcome of the talks in Addis. Is the government, South Sudanese government, though, concerned that the council could make good its earlier warning on imposing sanctions against individuals considered to be standing in the way of peace?
The Security Council represents the goodwill of the people of South Sudan and the international community. We are sure as they evaluate the facts, they will realize that peace that is hurried and that does not put the opinion and the desire and aspiration of the people of South Sudan for a lasting and viable peace will not be rushed through until the main factor that I have just narrated are considered and fully addressed. Imagine we sign peace in Addis Ababa and we discover that if we discover that the commanders are not with Riek and commanders determine that they will fight, are we not going to be back in the battlefield? Will it serve? And that is one of the things the government, the people of South Sudan wanted to be clear about. We don't think it would be wise to mislead our people that we have achieved peace to discover that the guns are still going up, to discover that their children are still running, to discover that the old men and women are still dying because of war-induced famine. This is not a kind of peace we want. The government you talk is not different from people. It is the people who brought this government, as I said before, and it is the people who are responsible for removing it.
All right, Ambassador Mariano Deng, South Sudan's ambassador to Kenya. Thank you for your time on Africa Live.